Peace and blessings, everyone. Peace and blessings. Hey, journeyers, how are y'all doing? How are you doing? I hope you are having a peaceable and a blessed day today. And I hope that you have had a productive day today. So, as you can see, the title of this is Me Sharing My Truth. Okay, so I'm going to be very transparent with you today. And let's look up what the definition of truth is. Why don't we do that? I hope you've had a wonderful day. And I wanted to share this with you. And I just think that in order for me to go forward in my purpose, I have to share this with you. I have to share who it is I am and the things that I've had to get over and the things I've had to work on with myself and my truth. So this is me sharing my truth. So now it goes to so many definitions, and it says it's a noun, the quality of state of being true. Now this is the definition of truth. Okay, and then it says that which is true or in accordance with fact or reality. And the next one is a fact or belief that is accepted as true. Now, I'm going to go to the Webster's Dictionary definition of what truth is so that we can have a complete definition of it, because we all know we love Webster's Dictionary, so we use Webster's a lot. So here we are, the definition of truth. And it says the body of real things, events, or facts, actuality. And then it says the state of being, the case fact. And then it says a judgment, proportion, proposition, or idea that is true or accepted as true. And then the next one says the property as of a statement of being in accord with fact or reality. And then the third one says sincerity in action, character, and utterance. So I think we're going to go with the last one. You want to know why? Because the last one is where I'm going. I'm sharing my truths with you because as a life coach, a motivational speaker, before I'm all that, and a purpose coach, before I'm all that, I am Dearice Spencer Shackelford. That's right. That's who I am. Thank you for joining me. Okay. So I went through all of that, and I'm Dearice Spencer Shackelford, and I'm sharing my truth with you. The truth is about me is years ago, I really didn't like people. And at times I don't now. Let me tell you why. You're like, what? You're helping people, but you don't like people. Let me explain what I mean. I don't like being around large crowds of people because I have to guard myself because I feel what people feel. I basically have been blessed with that gift of knowing how someone feels so that I can help them. And basically what that is called is an empath. And I've learned that over the years that the reason why I don't like being around a lot of people is because I feel what they're feeling. And in a large crowd of people, if I can feel what everyone is feeling, like say for instance, someone's really close to me and they're lying, I can actually tell that. And so for a time, I didn't like being around people. Now that I know how to govern myself accordingly and basically share myself and guard myself, I know how to do so. Another thing about me, and the reason being that I didn't like people so much, and I also had a very bad attitude years ago. Very, very bad attitude. And I'm sharing that because, a lot of people won't share who they are. And I don't mind being transparent with people and sharing who I am because this is me. This is who I am. I've learned to grow and mature in certain areas and certain aspects of my life to whereas I can actually share with people that this is me. I really had a bad attitude years ago. I had a lot of anger issues. I mean, a lot of anger issues where it was misplaced anger. I thought I was mad at my dad. I thought I was mad at my mom. But in actuality, what it was, when I went on this spiritual journey that I went on, my personal development journey, I found out that I'm mad at anyone. I was upset at my helplessness during the situations of the events that were occurring in my life. So therefore, when you're helpless and you feel that there's nothing you can do, because as a child, you can't do much. But I always thought that I was angry at everyone. No one understood me and everybody mistreated me. But in actuality, what it was, I felt helpless. And no one likes to feel helpless. No one likes to feel like their hands are tied and they can't do anything. But that's what by going on a personal development journey, this is what I found out. I went on a really, really big spiritual journey after certain events occurred in my life. I shared with you before that I lost my dad and an aunt and my husband, all within 30 days of each other. And the reason why I share that is not to relive that story and not to make you go, oh, that's nice that you get empathetic about what's going on in my past, but that's my past. The reason why I'm sharing it with you is because from that event occurring in my life, from those events occurring in my life, which were stones, pebbles into the lake of my life, the ripple effect that happened in my life, I was able to go on a personal journey, a self-development journey, which led to a more spiritual journey to find me. And that's what I'm sharing with you. I'm sharing with you these things about me that I had to work on, because I believe that it wouldn't make sense for me to say I'm a life coach, I'm a motivational speaker, and act like I was always up all the time. No, I'm not up, always happy all the time. No, I dealt with depression. I dealt with a whole lot of that. I've dealt with abandonment issues. I've dealt with all of it. You have to, in order to go to the next stage of your life. And this is my truth. This is me. I'm not saying it's anybody else's philosophy, but my thing is, I had to go through that. I had to experience all of that in one lump sum, the hurt, the pain, the aggravation, the unknowing, to get to where I am today. And another truth about me, another truth. For a year and a half, I was vegan. I was vegan. As I have been on my personal development journey, I've noticed that I need to listen to my body. And I begin to listen more and more to my body as time goes on. I begin to get more in tune with me and more in tune with my body. And so I have gotten away from being vegan a lot. I've gotten away from I still don't do milk. I don't do any type of dairy whatsoever. No, I don't do that. I've incorporated a little bit of sugars in my life, in my daily journey. And the reason being that I don't knock anybody for being vegan. I don't knock anybody for being vegetarian. I don't knock anybody for eating meat. I don't knock anybody for anything that they do, because I love people for who they are. I see them spiritually. I don't see you as a body. I see you as a spirit, in whatever it is that you're in need of. If I can help, I'm going to help you. And if I can't help you, I'm going to direct you to the person that can help you. And now in my life, I realize that I have to listen to my body. I'm more in tune with listening to me, the pure me. I always thought that I lost me for a long time, and that's what I was afraid of. I was afraid of a lot of times of being who it is I am, because somebody else would their reflection of who they weren't would lash out at the reflection of who I am to them, would offend them. And that's a mouthful. Let me go back again. We are all mirrors to each other, right? And you may hear the quiver in my voice, because sometimes I get a little emotional. We are all mirrors to each other, right? And if you've ever been in a relationship with someone, or a friendship, and when I say relationship, I want you to understand I'm not just speaking about a male female monogamous relationship. I'm talking about a relationship that is with any human being, whether it's a coworker or a you know a a lover. It doesn't matter. You are a mirror reflection of what's in front of you. So you have this and you have this. It's funny that I don't have a ring on the other finger, so you can actually get the gist of what I'm trying to say. So I was afraid for a long time to express who it is I am to people, letting them see my true self. Because for years, people would basically lash out at me like, "Oh, you think you're better than us? You think you're better than anybody else? You think So what? You've been those places." And I didn't know that people didn't travel. I've I've been uh, I've been to every state on the East Coast, and this is just something I did as a child. I traveled. I mean, I've been literally to every single state, and I've spent time in every single state on the East Coast. So I would share with people when I first moved to Texas that, yeah, I've been there and I've been this place. Now I'm young. I'm really young, but I didn't understand that people that didn't travel, by me sharing so much of what I've done, it was a mirror reflecting to them what they hadn't done. So instead of it looking, "Oh, I'm so happy for you," for them, it became, "So does that make you better than me?" It made them defensive that they didn't actually do it. And I didn't understand that. So whenever I would share myself with people, I would realize that, you know what, maybe I shouldn't share myself with people. People are ignorant. That's the mentality I began to augment to my life. Through teenage years, I was always the type of person that said, you know what, I don't want to share with people. I don't want to open up to people. There were walls all the way around my life, all the way around my spirit, period. I didn't let people past a certain point. And if you got to that brick wall, that was it. And it was funny because I had a cousin that I would spend a lot of time with, and she would tell guys, she would say, "Oh, oh, you're not gonna be around much longer." And they were like, "What? You don't know me and her, we're gonna be together." And she was like, "No." She's like, your time almost up, bro." And it was funny because she actually knew the truth about me. Now, with me saying that, I want you to keep in mind that I never ever, I didn't have sex frequently with a lot of people. I just didn't do that. What I did was I dated people and spent time with them. But after a while, once I saw one or two red flags, I was out of there, or they were out of there. They weren't even around me anymore. And so that was the two walls you get. If you could get past the first wall, and then you got to the second wall, you can't go any further. So I became very, very secluded in my life. Whenever I would go through something, this is my truth now. Whenever I would go through something, I would actually walk away from people and seclude myself from the world. Nobody would know what happened to me. Nobody would know where I went. I would just literally drop off the face of the earth. This is just something I did. Now this is me sharing the stuff I learned about myself. And the reason why I had a really, really funky attitude, I mean funky. Guys like me, girls not so much. Because I was basically the type of person, I said the truth regardless. That's one thing about some guys like me. I think some guys secretly like me. Some guys act like they didn't like me, but it was just because they thought I had an attitude, and I didn't. I just really just said what was on my mind. And to some people, that's a lot. So I had an attitude, but it was directed towards people that were ignorant in my vocabulary and my definition of what ignorant was. And people that would mess with people, people that would say ignorant things. Like I really felt it was my place to correct people. I really had that I don't know where I got that from, but I really felt like it was my job and my duty to correct people. So these are my truths. I'm sharing what I had to learn about myself in order to become the woman that is sitting before you today. And the reason why I'm sharing it is because, truth be told, we want things to be better in our lives, but we don't understand that we have to become better. And that is where I am. I had to become better. I had to eliminate and go through and excavate and dig deep within myself to really point out the facts of the matter. Look, this is you. Look, this is you. And no matter what anyone told me, I had to do that. I had to literally say, this is you. No one had to put up a mirror for me anymore. I mean, all the experiences that I've had in my life, I was ignorant to them. And see, that's the thing. I was ignorant to who it is I really was. I always thought it was someone outside of me. It's your fault. It's your fault. It's not my fault that you can't handle the truth. No one asked me for the truth. I would just say it. And when people would come to my opinion, come and ask me for my opinion, you know what I would say? I would say, "Are you really sure you want it?" Look, that was the craziest thing I realized about myself. When people didn't want it, I rambled on. I said it regardless. And when people did want it and they came to me for it, I would ask, "Do you really want it?" So I had to learn a lot of stuff about myself on my personal development journey, my self development journey. I also learned that I was kind of a man eater. You ever heard that song? She's a man, not a maniac. She's a man eater. I think that's Billy Joe. Oh, here she comes. Watch out, boy, she'll chew you up. Oh, here she comes. She's a man eater. I was one of those. And I literally had the mindset like that. I wanted to get what I could get and then move on. I didn't care about your feelings. I didn't care because I was raised that men only wanted one thing from you. Men only want one thing from you, and if they can't get it from you, they're going to get it from someone else, and they'll keep you on the back burner until they get it from you. And I was raised like that. I was raised like that from my mom from the age of 12 to what, 19, 20. So I was raised that, my thought process was from that was basically, okay, then if they're going to use me, I'm going to use them. And I didn't use men. And let me go deep into this. This broadcast is going to be pretty deep. This transmission is going to be pretty long and pretty deep. And I want you to be prepared for this. It's 17 minutes in, 18 minutes in, but I want you to understand something, that I'm sharing my truth with you. I'm not sharing anybody else's truth, what somebody else went through. I'm sharing who I am now because of who I was before. Because there is a transition that has to go on in your life if you want to change. And you have to really confront you, not anybody else. It's not going to take somebody telling you what's wrong with you. You're going to once you make a sound decision to go on a personal development journey, guess what's going to happen? You're going to address you. You're going to see you. That mirror is going to be like, bam, right in your face. Look, I can't take this away. It's you, because you said, I'm ready to be better. And your spirit has been telling you for years, it's time for you to be better. And guess what? You'll actually do this. So I did not have sex with all the guys that I've ever dated. No. There was very few and far between. A lot of people thought that just because I would give guys 30 days that, oh, she's messing around with a bunch of people. No. In fact, I was asked by my cousin, Dearice, do you mess around with all of them? No, I don't mess around with them. Ask them. I don't mess around with them. That's what my thing was. I didn't have sex with everybody. What I did was I learned who you were. And I was taught by an old pastor of mine, actually, that men know what they want, who they want within 30 days. Men know what type of woman that they want, and if you're the type of woman that fits their category. Guys, I'm sorry for breaking this out, but this is what I made my distinction on. how I made my thought process go in relating to me dating people. After 30 days, I would know whether or not I would keep you around. That's how it was for me. So I did that. And then I realized that I had to work on that. Why was I treating men like this? These aren't the men that did something wrong to me. These are totally opposite men. I mean, in I believe now, and you might think, well, she can't even get this out because the transmission is coming down so fast, and I have to explain it to you so that you can understand exactly what I mean. Okay, so I don't believe that I was mistreated in my life. Let me explain. Now, I've been through some really rough situations and I've been through some rough relationships, but I also attracted these people into my life. So I have to make that plainly. They were reflecting who it is that I was. So if the guy was a fake or a phony or a chameleon, he faked who he was just so he can get with me, then that means I was faking a part of myself. And therefore, this was a mirror image of who it is I am at that point in time. And I'm sharing this because you have to, and I keep reiterating this because you have to go through this in order to get to living and walking in your purpose and on purpose. Because if not, there's going to be this wall. And the wall is just this mirror of who you are. And until you address these things about you, you're going to constantly hit this wall. And see, I thought for a long time that, we have to, people need to change. Not me. People outside of me need to change in order for me to have a better life. People outside of me need to change. And I was like, well, maybe that's not the case. And then I was like, well, on this journey, I'm starting to see a lot of things about me that I don't like. I don't like how I seclude myself when I go through something. I don't like how when I go through something, nobody else is there. And I keep blaming that every time I go through something, I'm by myself because I seclude myself. I go in a cocoon and I stay there until I think I'm healed. I had to face that. I had to face that I pushed people away. In fact, I never even pushed. I just went off and crawled under a rock and stayed there until I thought things were okay with me. But I never really healed because I'm going to tell you something about the healing process. Excuse me, y'all. The healing process is this. It cannot properly be done by yourself. And you may disagree, but it's true. You can't properly heal by yourself. Do you know that if you have a cut or open wound, it cannot properly heal without air, without sunlight, without some form of nutrition? That's 3 variables right there. But you think that you can heal by yourself, secluded in your cocoon and underneath your rock. It doesn't happen like that. It takes all of us to heal each other. And what I realized is that my healing process became stronger when I surrounded myself with people who were fighting with me for my healing, who were depositing joy and love and healing into me. It's just something I learned. Now, I do apologize for the boobage, y'all. I can't help it. Now, here's another thing that I also realized and came to the realization of, that I talked really, really harsh to people. I was so harsh to people because I held myself to such high standards. And I felt like everyone should hold themselves to high standards. Everyone should want the best for themselves. Like, you should want to be the best. It don't matter. It don't matter. I was so rough with people, and I was so masculine in a sense. I was tomboy when I was younger. I had 9 uncles. I grew up with 9 uncles. So, I mean, my mom grew up with 4 brothers. So it was, I had a lot of masculinity around me, testosterone around me. So I learned a lot of things from men, from watching men. And the thing that got me the most about me was I didn't care if women didn't like me. I just said like this, you're just weak. If you can't be around me, if you think that the reason why guys like me is because I'm giving them something, then you're weak. It's not my fault that you can't hold a conversation with me. And there were women who were intimidated by me, who really wouldn't speak to me, and they thought I had an attitude problem. And they thought I was unapproachable, which was weird because guys would approach me all the time. Guys would sit and hold a conversation with me, and they're like, wow, you so cool, you so easy to talk to, and blah, 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 which was a two-edged sword for me because most of the guys that I was really into were the ones that would hold the conversation with me, and we would be able to talk about anything. And guess what? Those weren't the guys that would like me or be interested in me. They would actually ask me tips and tools, tips to how to get the other girls, the girls they can't really talk to. And then I was angry at that. So I had to adjust myself. Let me go back to this other story. I stopped secluding myself in order to heal. And what I began to do is I began to love my flaws. That's hard. And a lot of people say, I love myself. I love myself. I love me, girl. Because I go. Let me tell you something. I get my nails done. I get my hair done. I do it all myself. Right. Nothing wrong with that. You're supposed to be able to take care of yourself and shower yourself with gifts. But that's not loving your flaws. That's covering them up. Just so you know, that's embellishment. That's embellishing who you are for people to see you. It's sort of what they call a Jezebel spirit. Oh, I take myself to the spa. I do this and I do that and I do this. I make sure my hair is together. But are you together? I'm not talking about the you that everyone sees. I'm talking about the you here. See, I used to be one of those who love their nails being done, and I still like my nails to be done, but I like my nails. I love my nails. I love the highs and lows of my body and learning how my nails grow, how they don't grow, how this nutrition doesn't work for this and this. And I learned my flaws, and I learned to love them. I learned to love the fact that, sometimes I get sunburned. I am a chocolate sister who gets sunburned. And I can be out in the sun. I can go to the beach. I can be out in the sun, and next thing you know, I have tan lines all over me. And I don't like it, but I've learned to love it because that lets me know that even the sun wants to kiss my skin. And I need to embrace that. So if I don't like the effects of the sun, I need to learn to protect myself properly. And everyone else will think, oh, she's too good for the sun. I use an umbrella wherever I go now because the sun, it literally kisses my skin to the point where I have tan lines. And my daughter and I was talking about it. My oldest daughter and I, we were talking about it last night. I said, yeah, I get suntan. I get sunburned in a sense. And she was like, you get sunburned? I said, yeah, those tan lines, that's if I stay out there too long, I will get sunburned. And so she was like, oh yeah, mommy, you do. But I had to embrace that. Now you may say, Dearice, that's nothing. That's nothing. But for someone who works very hard on their skin tone, like I work hard at it being, ooh, that looks big, y'all. I can't help it. I be hitting the gym, but ooh. The suntan. I work very hard to have an even complexion because that's what I work hard at. I use natural products. I make natural products for myself to make my skin even and kissable. That's just it. So I had to learn to embrace that. I had to learn to love my flaws. I also had to learn to love the fact that certain things do not work well with the skin on my face. And I'll get a blemish. And it's like, why am I getting blemishes? And I have to go back and go over what is it that I ate. I can't eat certain things. Certain food bothers my system. I'm not too good. I'm not too good to eat what you're cooking. It's just I can't eat that. And no, thank you. It's not enough for you. You want me to go into a detail. I can't go into a detail because then you're gonna be sitting there saying, oh, you being extra. That's just how it is. People, you have to embrace who you are, regardless to how somebody else is going to respond to you. These are things I had to endure during my journey. And I'm still on the journey. I'm still learning new things about myself. Because guess what? This is my truth. I also had to learn that, sometimes I like watching movies. I like watching movies a lot. But I also know that when I get my downloads, it's totally different than someone else's. Totally different. Totally different. Totally different. Hey, you guys, I'm gonna have to end this transmission really, really quick. Something is going on with the internet. I don't know what it is. I will be right back for part two. Part two, I will be right back.